How you doing, everybody? I'm Strangest Amethyst, and welcome back to the alpha demo of Nioh. Last time we rid a residence of a particularly angry Oni and borrowed a key to make our way into this township, which, to say the absolute least, has seen better days. There's certainly a few more zombies than any healthy, productive village should probably have wandering about. So, considering my thoughts on the Oni mini-boss from last time, I was wondering how long it would take for the game to slap me right around the face with Oni enemies that are a bit more difficult. Not long. As we can see from this dual sword Oni, he is a lot faster than the other guy, and he definitely makes quite the effort to close the distance between you and him whenever he can. The fact that there was a second zombie I hadn't taken care of backing him up here was not helping matters at all. Not even the shrine could protect me that time. So as you make your way down from the shrine to the village, you find this little stack of boxes, behind which is the second zombie who backs up the Oni unless you kill him. Prompt execution is recommended. Alright, round two. As you can see, I'm kind of panicking and trying to be a lot more careful just because he is very, very agile indeed. Oh, back to hell you go! Alright, out of the frying pan into the fire, we've got a couple more rather annoying enemies to get acquainted with. Now, the archers aren't actually that bad, I find. They're relatively annoying, especially if you're fighting somebody else, and of course, you get an arrow in the back, it's gonna sap quite a bit of your health, but luckily enough, it's not too difficult to just dodge or block arrows normally. The difficulty comes from the other gentlemen. These soldiers in heavier armor, my word, I think I actually died to these guys more than I did the Oni. They are relentless in their attacks. They will not stop pressuring you. Getting very well acquainted with your dodge roll, blocking them wherever possible, draining their ki, that seems to be the way to take them down. Easier said than done, I will admit. Alright, onwards. Moving along. Just making sure the coast's clear. And we're good. Right, here we have this little well with a stone on it. Now, the fact that the stone is tied to something does give you a little hint that hitting it might yield some sort of result. Which it does, it brings up the bucket in the well and gives you an item. But I'm not gonna lie, the main thing that motivated me to do it initially was that they did something like that in Dark Souls 2, and I wanted to see if doing the same here would do anything. In any case, if you see a well with a stone tied to it, give it a whack. Getting some of that sweet, sweet loot. Whoa! Oh, yes, I meant to do that, yes. Woohoo! Haha! Special delivery of pain for you! Yes, indeed, trap rooftops are most certainly a thing in this area. Anyone who's played the Valley of Defilement on Demon Souls will know the pain those things can cause. To their credit, Team Ninja don't really go overboard with the traps to much of an extent. It's more having one or two in a place that can really mess you over if you do fall for them. Ah, there we go, found another little Kadama, superb. Now that was one of the gold-hatted ones, which I think actually plays into the Kadama blessing I currently had selected at this point from the shrine, which was to receive more Amrita per kill. Finding that Kadama should have just boosted that blessing further, excellent. Alright, there we go, taking out the guard. And I'm just going around the back, just taking it nice and slow, just thinking, any second there could be some sort of hideous ambush, or something worse. Unfortunately, it seemed at this point, there was something worse. Oh yes, another strange bit of ethereal fog, meaning another Oni. Alright, he's got a sword. This is the same type of Oni that I fought in the house in the previous episode, so here's hoping I can draw on that experience to take him down. Next time I'll get him. Oh, do not want to pull the people in that house as well, that would not be helpful. That's gotta be the neighborhood watch. As you might imagine, I'm not on good terms with them. I have a tendency to burst through people's roofs at a moment's notice, apparently. Bam! That's the end of that. Excellent. So this next section is actually footage of my second New Game Plus playthrough of this stage, as I've marked on the top of the screen here. There's more information about why this is on screen now, but long story short, I unfortunately trimmed a bit too much of the footage whilst it's still on my PS4 and ended up cutting out some important parts. So I saved a few New Game Plus clips to bridge the gaps. Very dumb of me indeed, please excuse that mistake. If there's a lesson to be learned here, it's to always watch what you're trimming. Ah yes, this guy. Now, if you remember what I said earlier about the archers not being that annoying, this guy right here is an exception to that. His location means that he has a pretty good view of you from a surprising number of angles on these rooftops, meaning that you're always trying to anticipate when and where the next arrow is going to come from. You just know they made him this annoying to make you want to rush at him to take him out because, spoiler alert, there's both a hidden guard and a trap roof between you and him. They knew he was annoying. So, as you might imagine, because of all the hazards in the way, I tend to like taking him out from afar instead. Actually, whilst I'm on that topic, one feature I'd love to see added before the game gets released would be the ability to dodge roll out of aiming your bow. Just because in situations like this, where you're shooting back and forth trying to take someone out from afar, you can't really get out of the way very quickly. To dodge out the way of an incoming arrow, for example, you need to manually stop aiming and then roll, all of which are precious frames, and doing that can sometimes feel a wee bit awkward, I found. Then again, maybe that's intentional. Perhaps they didn't want players engaging in back and forth ranged battles with archers. Now you may have noticed I started casting something there. Nioh doesn't just have physical combat, you can also get involved with things like ninjutsu, i.e. using things like throwing stars, and, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Nioh magic, which is buffs and debuffs and so on. I didn't quite make use of either of these until the boss of this stage in my second playthrough, hence why you can see me using them here in the New Game Plus footage. I somehow managed to get two Nioh magic talismans, one that improved my defense against demonic forces and greatly boosted my ki/stamina recovery, and another that slowed down enemies. I quickly came to love the spell that slows down enemies because, especially with the more relentless enemies like the Oni, slowing them down can let you get so many more hits in than you would normally without greatly increasing the risk to you, which makes taking them down a fair bit easier. It's a lot of fun to play around with, I must admit. If I ever do get the full game, I'm probably going to experiment with builds a bit more. Maybe I'll invest a bit more in the ninjutsu and Nioh magic. Hello, friend. Sorry, sir. This will be your last patrol. So how to deal with that big group over there? Well, I'm going to shoot an arrow at them. Lead them over here. Hop down and unleash. Any second now. The living weapon. Now this is a move that you activate by pressing triangle and circle together when the little gauge in the top left is full and shows an image of your currently selected guardian spirit. Said spirit surges forth, you get a massive damage boost, and before long, everyone's dead. The caveat seems to be that you can't get hit. If you do, the living weapon state either ends right there and then, or it drops a lot closer towards deactivation. Alright, I think we're very nearly done. Just gonna loot this corpse. There's a gentleman over there who definitely needs to be taken down. That's done. Just head up here. Head along this little pathway, and what's this? A door with a bar on it? Where on earth could it lead? It's not as if you can see it behind it. There it is, it's the shrine. Oh my god. Yes, we've done it. Excellent. So with that, my final thoughts for this episode. This town was quite the ride. What with the archers, the traps, the Oni, and of course, those soldiers in heavier armor. Definitely a lot more difficult than the previous areas, had quite a few more off-camera deaths here. Let's be honest, there's many, many more to come. I've been Strangest Amethyst, and thank you very much for watching.